So Marius, thank you to be here with us in Monaco on the occasion of LIM Conference to share Bristol experience regarding smart city and electric mobility. Next year, Bristol will officially be named as the European Green Capital. Could you explain us how your successful general initiatives leading the city to be awarded?
Thank you very much for having me. Bristol focused its European Green Capital bid around the three themes of learning, innovation, and leadership, how they can be passed on to others. What we do is not unique, and what is wanted by the EU Commission is to be able to demonstrate teaching that can be done in other areas as well. And Bristol's a place where we value new ideas, and we look at putting different things into action. And we also have our first directly appointed mayor, and he has the power and the authority to drive through these changes. So in the past, we may not have had the political ability to look at all these changes and try new and innovative things. The new leadership has offered us that opportunity to try and experiment and use the city as a test bed.
So Bristol is under the spotlight for its sustainable development policies. Some of them concern issues for the future, meeting the city expectations in terms of development, for becoming a European hub for low-carbon industry, creative and digital sectors. So could you explain us how Bristol works to build its attractiveness for convincing skilled people to join and be part of the city development?
So Bristol has focused on creating a low-carbon hub that provides a home for many green businesses from around the world. And an example of this is the Bristol Enterprise Quarter zone, which opened in 2012 and is one of the UK's largest urban regeneration projects. The 76 hectare area is in the heart of Bristol, and basically it has a target of creating 4,000 jobs. There are over 350 businesses that are already in this specific area, and these include the headquarters for the law firm Burgess Salmon. We also have IBM, BT, Osborne Clark, Canada Life and HSBC. There are also rapidly growing clusters of small entrepreneurial organizations, and these have a focus on creativity and digital sectors. And what we're finding is that they're bringing in new technologies and new ideas that are energizing the zone as well, and bringing in that entrepreneurial spirit to Bristol.
Okay, so among Bristol policies, the city is mainly concerned by mobility, energy and ICT users' experience. As the coordinator of the EV program, could you explain us how Bristol has designed its EV policy solutions? So electric cars, bikes, infrastructures, ICT.
So our electric vehicle infrastructure is divided into three projects that we're presently implementing. So the first project that we're implementing is the UK pilot of the ICT for EV EU project, which is one of the EU Commission's 4 ICT PSP electromobility projects. And the project is involved in deploying an innovative set of ICT services regarding electric vehicle charge points. The Bristol's deliverables include looking at creating a global management software which links all the charge points together. We have a smartphone app, as well as a social media enhanced website. Source Waste, which is our charge point infrastructure consortium, and this comprises of 4 local authorities. It is aimed at supporting the introductions of EVs into the southwest commute area, and we are doing this by providing free access to public charge points for the general public, and then additionally we are offering subsidies to individuals to have off-street charge points, and also to businesses for them to have charge points, so that would encourage them to look at having EV fleets. And then our third project, we received funding back in 2013 from the Office of Low Emission Vehicles, also known as OLEV, and they awarded us funding for 15 rapid chargers. 6 of these rapid chargers will be going in by the end of this month, and then we'll be putting in the other 9 so that they're operational by the end of March 2015.
So regarding Bristol EV commitments, are these initiatives only focused on people, or is the city also involved in its own equipment, moving from fossil mobility to electric mobility?
So Bristol City Council is presently developing a strategy to integrate ultra-low emission vehicles into its fleet. Considerations are being looked into regarding electric vehicles in the council's pool cars. This would be a way of encouraging staff to utilise an EV, often when they haven't had that opportunity before. And then once they've got into an electric vehicle pool car, that would encourage them, hopefully, to consider getting EVs within their departmental vehicles. We are also looking at utilising electric vans within certain departments, as these vehicles do multiple short journeys within the day. So an electric van would suit that logistical situation. And we're also investigating the introduction of electric buses within the cities, as this would help improve our air quality strategy.
So I believe for any city of the world, entering in electric mobility is a deep and lasting and involving experience. Marius, could you explain us Bristol methodology in terms of implementation, as for designing the EV policy and researches, testing and experiences?
So Bristol's main methodology is to look at future-proofing the city in terms of electric vehicle infrastructure. At present, we have 5 different electric vehicle charge point manufacturers. So we've had to ensure that across our network, we've been looking at standards and protocols, particularly for us, the Open Charge Point Protocol, OCPP. We realize that at the moment, charge points are not utilized as fully as they could be, but we have a strategy of making people aware of charge points so that it overcomes range anxiety. And once people feel comfortable knowing that there are sufficient places to charge across the region, that will also support the uptake of people purchasing electric vehicles. And we've also been working hard to look at interoperability across the UK so that our scheme is compatible with other schemes. We've done this by subcontracting through to Charge Your Car, who manage over 1,500 charge points, and they handle the day-to-day operations of Source West.
So I mentioned at the very first of our interview, Bristol is designing a policy of attractiveness for skilled people in the field of creative, digital and low carbon economies. Marius, could you explain us the city plan and how electric mobility may make the difference to reach these goals?
Okay, so as I mentioned previously, Bristol has invested heavily in the Bristol Temple Enterprise Zone, and what we've also done is we've received funding from the UK's Technology Strategy Board for around £3 million. And this is to create what's known as the Bristol Futures City Demonstrator. And its purpose is really to be looking at how do we integrate multiple systems in novel new ways to tackle different city challenges. And so we're using this as a platform for allowing quite innovative companies to come together to test their ideas. And this means that we often find that we're getting entrepreneurs who have quite novel ideas, creative ideas, but they may not have the infrastructure to test it out, but we are able to provide that through this demonstrator. And so what that allows them to do is actually simulate it and as a real life scenario and putting their ideas into place. So this allows us to kind of bring electromobility into play, because we are then hopefully going to be able to encourage small organizations or bigger organizations to come to Bristol and say, try out what we've got to offer. This is our infrastructure. These are the other elements that Bristol has to offer, and hopefully offering new technologies going forward. And so maybe that might be related to IT for electromobility, maybe it relates to battery cells. There's a whole big range. I think in the UK at the moment there's a very strong push to get investment in electromobility, because it is such a new field that it is going to grow as we get closer and closer to 2020, that the UK really wants to try attract those skills, attract that investment, get the UK to be seen as a leading sector for providing the battery technologies and the vehicles themselves. So that's one thing that we want to be focusing on. What's also quite good with the Bristol City demonstrator is that it's looking at things like mobility on demand. It's trying to look at personalization in health and social care systems. It's looking at city governance and future workplaces. And ultimately, what we want to be seeing is really a smart city like Bristol, which has got all these great little projects out there, but all connected together. And that data sharing, that information, so that we are able to start doing things differently, smarter, more efficiently.
So as a concrete example for attracting people in cities' development goals, LIM is designed to provide a response for cities, bringing together public and private actors, students, researchers and people for sharing experiences about mobility in cities through a digital and real-life experience designed to bring closer mobility innovators and their potential end users. So LIM is about to be launched in UK in order to support the development of mobility and smart cities. So Marius, regarding your experience, do you think LIM initiative is a good additional means to contribute to local, national and international empowerment about Bristol development goals and more generally in UK?
Yes, I do. I think something like LIM can bring in an added dimension. It can bring in something very positive to the UK. Electromobility is still relatively a new emerging field. It's in its incubation stage. It's been fostered and it's been encouraged to grow. And at this stage, we really need to be bringing together people from all different sectors, as you say, public, private, researchers, students, general public, together and getting them speaking. And the most effective way is to get shared knowledge and experiences. And I think, particularly in the UK, we're trying to try out new technologies. We're trying to look at how to make electromobility a viable business option, a business case for it. So lots of things are going on. And if you're able to, LIM is maybe able to offer a way of linking up these different areas, that would be really, really constructive. I get a lot of students coming to me because they're studying about electromobility. So that's really exciting. I get dissertation students who maybe, I've got one who's doing a master's at the moment. So it would mean for them that they've got this opportunity to tap into something a lot bigger, which ultimately would benefit them, but also the people that they're engaging with. So I think that we're going into a stage now of electromobility will get a little bit, is going to become more sophisticated. We're going to see that there are going to be new complementary technologies coming forward. We're going to be seeing more actual uptake of the vehicles and then becoming more of a visible resource in the next coming years. So I think this is a time to get engaged. This is a time to put foundations down so that you can become an active part of that.
So to conclude our interview, what kind of messages would Bristol like to spread about smart cities, EV and charging infrastructures policies? What messages for cities, for private mobility actors and for people? Okay,
I would say with regards to EVs and charging infrastructure, EVs are a reality. This is not some experiment that's going to go away. This is something that has become quite crucial within the vehicle manufacturing side, as well as government policies. We are seeing this need to be looking at how do we deal with pollution, green gases. This is not the only solution, but this is one solution. And so this is a way of doing something constructively. This is a reality. So I see EVs really coming to the fore now. I see for smart cities, it's about enabling data to be. We're now seeing smart cities coming to the fore, and they're going to be able to enable the ways of data and ways of thinking, and probably in often quite simple ways of making things far more effective, help with cost reductions, and they will offer ways of linkages to deal with pressing issues that we're having to deal with as a society as a whole. And I think what we're going to find is that smart cities are going to mean solutions that we're able to find to go forward. And I think they're also going to offer us new viable opportunities. They're going to be ways of doing things that we hadn't thought about, but also they are going to be hopefully support a digital economy. They will be hopefully the way that in 5-10 years time we will see much of this becoming a reality. So I see them as being something really, really constructive. Our message to private mobility actors and other cities is, we're here, come speak to us. We want to learn from you. You may want to learn our experiences. What we do can be replicated in other cities. We're not such a novel city that what we do can only be done in Bristol. What makes Bristol great is that we share common elements with a lot of other cities. So what we have learned can be replicated elsewhere. And what other cities have done, we can learn from as well. So let's kind of learn together, let's share together, let's participate together.
Okay, so thank you, Marius, for being with us today, sharing Bristol experience. We all understood very well Bristol development goals for smart city and electric mobility. And I'm wishing you all the best for entering your year in 2015 as the European Green Capital.
Thank you very much, you too. Thank you.